Within 30 minutes, it had swollen under my arm and nearly to my collarbone and was at least 3 times bigger than when I got up that morning. I call my doc's office in Virginia and his nurse says, "Get me to the emergency room." She tells me that I need to sit up so I can get out of my dress. I say, "I cannot. My breast is going to explode," and she thinks I'm kidding. I unzip the front of the dress. She sits me up, and sure enough, my breast explodes. I mean, bursts open. Blood is everywhere, including all over the front and back of my dress and my shoes. I know I owe you some readings from my book, so I thought today I would give you 2 readings. And of course, I'm reading from You Are Enough, Reclaiming Your Career and Your Life with Purpose, Passion, and Unapologetic Authenticity, written by me, of course. Today I'm going to read you from 2 passages in my book that are both about cancer. I think I might have mentioned to you that when I wrote the book, I was also going through cancer. And so in parts of the book, I put some excerpts from my blog that I kept. And the reason why I want to read about cancer today, trust me, is not because I want to revisit it, but because so many people are being diagnosed with cancer. It seems like more than ever than in the past. And not too long ago, meaning minutes ago, I got word of someone who was a part of a community that I'm in. I knew him, but not well. We were acquaintances. Died from cancer, and I didn't even know he had cancer. And I don't know, it just seems to be everywhere. So I wanted to give you a couple of readings from my experience that maybe if you know someone who's going through cancer, and hopefully you aren't yourself, maybe this will help you understand the road they are traveling, and maybe it can help you relate to them a little bit better. This first one, these are both from 2018. This first one is called It's Complicated. Life is complicated. That's not a revelation, but sometimes we forget life is complicated for everyone. Over the past several weeks, my moods have vacillated between near euphoria and downright despair, and for no reason at all, really. I blame it on the medication, the side effects. Side effects bring unwanted friends like weight gain, quasi-depression, irritability, and sometimes an "I don't give a shit about anything" attitude, which explains why I just spent 4 days in London with no coat and refused to buy one. I froze my ass off, but was too proud to admit it and go to the store and buy a damn coat. Serves me right. I'm really over the medications and side effects, so I took a break from them, from the medication for a little while. And guess what? I feel great, like the old me. A few weeks ago, I spoke at a public relations conference, and as I came off the stage, I ran into one of the icons of the PR industry. As he greeted me, he smiled and said, "You're back." I smiled and said I had been back for some time. He said that's not what he meant. He said he could see the light, or rather the life, in my eyes again. I hadn't realized the light went out. I wonder when it happened. Diagnosis? Treatment? Post-treatment? When I asked a colleague about it, she said there hadn't been light behind my eyes in a long time. I guess when your soul is dark, so are your eyes. Some people see your darkness and silently pray that the real you, the whole you, will return. Some people see you in a weakened state and use it against you for their gain. And that's sad. Really, really sad. I wonder what is so broken in them that they must break others who are already struggling. When I was in London, I went to see the new Tina Turner musical. I just finished her latest book and was intrigued to see the show. Now, her life was complicated. She has enough perseverance, drive, and resilience for all of us. She's suffered a lot. She survived her husband, Ike Turner, using and abusing her for 16 years and practically stalking her after she left him. She restarted a career with a bang in her mid-40s when so few people believed she could. And we all know that couldn't have been easy. In recent years, she survived a stroke, intestinal cancer, a kidney transplant, and the death of a son who died by suicide at the age of 60. Through it all, she fought. She fought for her life, her success, and her happily ever after, and she got it. She went on to play to sold-out crowds. I've seen her in concert when she's been over 60, and she was amazing. She married the love of her life, released a book telling her story, and helped produce a musical about her life. Damn, girl. Living well really is the best revenge. I wonder, though, did the light ever leave her eyes? And if so, did she know? At the end of the show, I shed a few tears of joy for Tina. I love it when the underdog wins. I shed a few tears for me too. The respite from my medication will end soon, and the parts of remission that I hate most will return in a matter of days. Don't get me wrong, I am truly grateful to be alive. I'm just not satisfied. This has led me to consider going off my medication for good rather than endure it for the next 7 years. A friend asked me why I would do that after all I'd been through. Why would I give up now? I don't see it that way. For me, making this decision means that I'm managing my situation rather than letting it manage me. Granted, going off medication can increase the chance of cancer recurrence anywhere from 3% to 60%. I fall somewhere on the higher end based on what I've learned from Dr. Google. Perhaps I'll see what my oncologist thinks. I know people who go off their meds without telling their docs. No judgment here, but that's just not me. When Tina left Ike, she deliberately chose herself over anything else. She chose to change her circumstances, and it worked. Her second act ran circles around the first part of her life. That's kind of how I feel. Going off my medication is me choosing life on my terms. One evening when I was watching television, there was a scene where a psychologist who happens to have breast cancer is talking about people who choose to die by jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge. She says that only 1% survive, but 100% of those who survive regret having done it at all. She says, and this is paraphrased, it's not that they don't want to live, they just don't want to live like this anymore. Pretty powerful. I feel like I'm running to the light. Not that light, the one people see when they think they're dying and they say God is calling them. I'm not running to that light. I'm running to catch up to the light that is back in my eyes where it's supposed to be, the one that is full of fire and makes me, me. I'm running to my second act. In the meantime, I think I'll follow Tina's lead. And as the big wheels keep on turning, I'm going to keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling down the river to living my best life, which may or may not include medication. If going off the medication increases my chances of recurrence by less than 50%, it will be my choice to forego continued medication. And the key phrase in this sentence is my choice. My life, my rules. This next session was written shortly after the one that I just read, where I had my hope back. And this one is called The Spontaneous Combustion of My Breast. I've been doing well, getting back into the swing of things and feeling good, if not great. But alas, sometimes 3 steps forward come with 2 steps back. Just when you think you have kicked cancer's ass, something happens to remind you that you have not gotten there. Not yet. Damn. On Sunday night, June 3rd, 2018, I arrived in Texas full of vim and vigor to attend an industry conference. I had been looking forward to this for some time. I'd missed last year's conference due to being in treatment. I got up on Monday feeling cute as ever in a white, green, gray, zip-up Acris Punto dress and white Dior pumps that I just love. Stay with me. They are pertinent to the story. I head down to breakfast, hug a few friends, and sit down to eat. And almost immediately, my chest began to tighten. And my left breast, the one with cancer, had started swelling. I mean, really swelling, fast. Within 30 minutes, it had swollen under my arm and nearly to my collarbone and was at least 3 times bigger than when I got up that morning. I call my doc's office in Virginia and his nurse says, "Get me to the emergency room." So I call an ambulance and they take me to the nearest hospital. At some point, I call my husband, Greg, and tell him what has happened. And on my arrival to the emergency room, my blood pressure plummets and I'm fading in and out. All I can hear is the nurse telling me to stay with her and shaking me awake. She won't let me fall asleep. She does not want me to pass out. I cannot keep my eyes open. I just want to sleep, but I try my best. At this point, my breast is still swelling, and I am still in my dress, praying that they do not cut me out of it. I mean, this dress was an investment. She tells me that I need to sit up so I can get out of my dress. I say, I cannot. My breast is going to explode. And she thinks I'm kidding. I unzip the front of the dress. She sits me up, and sure enough, my breast explodes. I mean, bursts open. Blood is everywhere, including all over the front and back of my dress and my shoes. The explosion is so large that my brand new implant comes out and falls to the floor, completely intact. Undamaged. It becomes clear pretty quickly that my implant did not explode. My skin did, from the presence and the pressure. It turns out my reconstruction scar of 4 weeks ago that had completely healed gave way to my blood-filled breast. Everyone around me is horrified. Even the ER doctor and the 3 nurses who are staring at me. No one does anything for a few seconds. We're all in shock. So I say, shouldn't we put compression on this before I pass out? They snap out of it, put compression on the wound, and I pass out as I hear them say to prepare for a blood transfusion because I have lost so much blood. I still don't know if I had a transfusion. I have a bracelet on that says I might have. Who knows? By now, the bleeding is controlled, and so is my blood pressure. So they start giving me IV meds, no idea what, and prepare to transfer me to another hospital. This one doesn't have a plastic surgeon on staff, and I need surgery right away. Seriously? I get to the new hospital, and the gorgeous plastic surgeon says, I've never seen anything like this. Never. He calls my doctor in Virginia, They doc chat for a while and determine surgery is a must, first thing in the morning. He says a blood clot is the worst that can happen, but he doubts that will occur. He takes another look at the wound. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been to so many doctors lately that when they look at me or my situation, I don't listen to what they say. I watch their eyes and often their facial expressions. Sometimes doctors give away a lot and do not mean to. As the cute doctor looks at the wound, he cringes. I kid you not, he cringes. This cannot possibly be good. Of course, it has not been good yet, so why should it start now? A dear friend who is also at the conference ignores my protests about her visiting me at the hospital and comes anyway, thank you, to keep me company until my husband arrives. Yes, my husband hops on a plane to Texas. This must be serious. What you need to know about my husband is that he is a steady, serious guy. He's not the one to run to your bedside and sit there holding your hand while they put in an IV. He is more the I love you and tell me if you need anything type. But not in a cold way, just a matter-of-fact way. He arrives around 9:00 p.m., and I am so glad to see him. But if he is here, I know it's serious. But I also know that it's going to be okay. No one could possibly advocate for me or take better care of me. The next morning, surgery goes as planned, except I wake up with only one breast. Really? The other one is gone, gone, gone. This is shocking to me. The next morning, Greg and I and just my right boob are flying home. Tomorrow I will see my surgeon in Virginia and determine the next steps for my mutilated body. He thinks there are options. What I would do now for those two oddly, but not horribly, reconstructed breasts I had a month ago and just couldn't stop complaining about. The journey I thought was ending seems to be only in the middle. The 5th inning and not the 9th. I'm reminded that people always tell me that I'm resilient. I guess I am. I just hope in the end, people will say that I rallied. I always tried to be positive, even when I felt my resolve crumbling. Part 2, the rest of the story. The day after we returned home, I went to see my doctor in Virginia. When he walked into the room, he said, "So your implant burst?" I said, "No, it did not." I had a feeling that was what the other doctor would tell him. So I reached into my purse, pulled out my implant, and put it in his hand. I had asked the nurse in the emergency room if I could keep it. I don't remember doing it, but I did. He was surprised that I brought the implant back with me. "You kept it?" he said. Admittedly, it was a little odd. I told him that I wanted to be clear that the implant had not ruptured and that I did not trust that the ER doc would accurately convey that information. And I was right. Not one to criticize another doctor's work, he just said it would be okay, that I should rest for a week and the implant could be put back in over the next 2 weeks. That didn't make sense to me. Hadn't I lost skin in this process? Was I getting new skin? Cadaver skin? He was on to the next patient before I could gather myself to ask those questions. To be clear, I trust this doctor, and I'm not one to second guess him. So I rested for a week and was scheduled for the re-implantation in just a couple of weeks. I decided that in the meantime, I would remain lopsided. No chicken cutlets for me. For some reason, stuffing my bra on top of all of this was just one step too far. My uneasiness led me to cancel my surgery and seek out another path. I just had a nagging feeling I needed to do something else. Over that weekend, I got a call from one of the senior executives at MD Anderson Cancer Center. They arranged for a team to see me in just a few days. I flew to Houston and learned more about what happened. What is consistent is that it's rare. At that point, only 2 people, including me, had had something similar occur, but only one blew up. Mine. If you're wondering what happened to the Acros Punto dress, my husband took it to the dry cleaners and they said, no way, no how. I think there was some concern about it being a biohazard or they thought he had committed a gruesome murder and was trying to get rid of the evidence. Either way, they were not touching it. But all was not lost. He soaked the dress in cold water in the bathtub and the hotel for more than an hour and carefully pulled out all of the blood clots. It was gross. If that is not love, I don't know what is. The dress is now good as new, and the only remaining stain is on the inside label, a subtle reminder of life, death, love, and resilience. Oh, and in case you're wondering, this whole episode was worth 2 bracelets. Now, I don't think I have told you the bracelet story, so that one's going to have to come up soon. When I started this bracelet milestone project, I was so excited. I thought I would be glancing at my wrist of courage, smiling in awe, because it would remind me of what I've overcome and how strong I was. Instead, at least for now, I look at my wrist and it just reminds me of all the shit I have gone through and the shit that awaits me. I sound bitter, I know, but I'm not. I'm just very, very tired. And I don't know when the end will be in sight. Reconstruction is scheduled. One more thing about that Acros Punto dress. This is where fashion helped save my life. The fabric of the dress was so thick, it served as a compression garment up until the zipper was released. It literally kept me from bleeding to death before I could get to the emergency room. Thank you for listening.